Hi, this is Mr. Rush. We're here with Robot Builder, and we're going to be turning this code into a Java file. In the last video, we set up a drivetrain, a couple of talons. We set up a command. Drive with joysticks requires the drivetrain. We set up the drivetrain with this default command, drive with joysticks. Then we're using this robot drive, which can handle two motors and make it go back and forth, or forwards and backwards. This is what we're doing. What we wanted to do is we wanted to want to save the file and make it a Java program. Okay. So I'm keeping in mind my YML files, yet another markup language file, and I'm going to push that Java button. So I'm looking for first drive 216.2. And what I'm going to know is that it's saved in the Christopher Roche workspace over here in my Eclipse workspace. Okay, which we've done. So now we've generated some Java code, and we're going to go see what it looks like. So we're going to open up Eclipse. And Eclipse is a Java editor. And see, what's great is that the Robot Builder will put this into my workspace. And if this isn't right for your Robot Builder file, you can change that. And Eclipse is going to open up in a sec. Okay, so this is what Eclipse opens up to when you first get it. You get this sort of package explorer, which gives you like the name of old files. A lot of people use the computers we're using, so you're going to see some stuff. If you see something open here, this is like where you program. This is a programming window. Close these things up. Like if this is open, like in here, like it'll open up like that. You can see other people's programs. Close it up just to kind of protect what other people have written. And this is also a console window, which will tell you what the computer thinks about your code as it runs. But what we need to do is we need to go open up ours and go find what we got. So what we're going to do is we're going to import, and we're going to import an existing project into the workspace. We're going to go here, and we're going to browse the workspace. So this is, I'm in Christopher Roche workspace. So I'm going to say OK and see what it finds for me. Okay, it doesn't like load old programs that have already been loaded, but this one's new, and that's great. And so I'm going to make sure that's checked off, and then I'm going to finish. And what will happen is we've got some source code right here. I have a little bit of an error with the path, which I'm going to go fix right now, and I'll be back. Okay, great. We're back. I had a little problem with like some libraries I needed to get attached to this code, and I did it. So I think your computers won't have that problem. But what happens is if I open these up, I get these three what are called packages, okay, that carry the code that got generated from Robot Builder. One of which is called drivetrain. One of which is called drive with joysticks, that's our command, and one of which is called OI, which is operator interface, which is like the controller that we're going to use to control the robot. Those are the three we kind of care about. Okay, in drivetrain, looking at this and going very quickly, what happens is you get this kind of pre-generated Java code, okay, and what happens is everything in Java has to be a class, and all your programming for each class have to begin and end with these curly braces. So this begins a public class called drivetrain, which is a kind of a form of a subsystem. That makes sense because we did this when we made Robot Builder. And what comes with it, it comes with a couple of other objects that we can use to program with, which is like one, the drivetrain, which handles the two talons, or we can actually directly address them if we needed to. Okay, but what we're going to do is, and what's going on is that there's nothing in this right now to make the robot drive. So we need to actually program a robot driving function, right, which is called a method in Java. So this is our program. Okay. And it looks like this. We're going to say public void drive robot. Okay. and we're going to make these curly braces to show what the code is going to be inside there. So we made that. Okay. Methods can also take what's called arguments. You can pass information to this, and that's great. And this means that it'll sort of do whatever in here and then return nothing. Okay. So if he says void, it means like the public means everybody can see it. Void means return nothing, just do the job. And the job is called drive robot. And we're going to take two decimal numbers, which are called doubles in Java. So we say double left stick and double right stick, which will allow us to get the sticks from the Xbox controller. And okay, so we programmed a method that takes two numbers to run. So if we send it a left and a right value, it will run the robot. Okay, so the way to do this right now is I have a robot drive object, which I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to go dot. And what's going to happen, hopefully, is it's going to tell me all of the functions that I can use with the robot drive. With the robot drive comes, like all these things will be arcade drive and all this kind of stuff. And we can use any one of these. We're going to use something called tank drive. Okay, and the simplest one is just to use tank drive like this. I think actually in class what we did is we used this one because there's a kind of a variable that we can use to have it like kind of smooth things out when it's driving really slowly. So I'm going to use this, and what we're going to pass it is the left stick value, the right stick value, and then there's this thing called squared inputs. And what this does is it helps it, like when things are low, it helps it to I guess run better. So we're going to say true. We want that. Okay, and that is going to will be right value. I should call this right stick. So you can see like when there's an error, it'll tell you what the problem is right here. So right now it doesn't know what right means. And but what I do have is I have a right stick value. So I can go like that and see now there's no error and everything's fine. Okay. That's the first thing we need to do. Second thing we need to do is go up into Drive with Joysticks, and we need to put code in here now to run like when it's time to execute the Drive with Joysticks command, which is going to happen like pretty much every time we move the joystick. We want this to happen. So what we have right now is we have something called drive robot. Okay, I want to call it. And I'm in a different object now. It's weird. I'm in a command object. This is like the subsystem object in a whole different package. And I can access them through this class called robot, because robot has the whole structure of the robot. So I can go like this. I can go robot dot, and there it is, the drivetrain. So this is an instance of that class, this drivetrain class. So this is in my robot. So I'm going to pick this, and then if I go like this, dot, I can get drive robot now. Okay, so all I have to do is pass it a left stick and a right stick, and everything will be fine. Okay, but I don't know what the left stick and right stick values are. I have to get them from the joystick. So what I need to do, so I'm going to get this error. Okay, but I'm going to come back to this because I have to do something to kind of get this fixed. I'm going to go up into OI. Okay, because OI is the operating interface, is the entity in the program that kind of knows about the Logitech Xbox joystick. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make two routines. They're kind of like the ones I wrote in the drivetrain one. Okay, I'm going to go public, and this time I'm going to go double because I need to get a number. I need to like find this out and pass this on to somebody, and I'm going to call it get like right stick value. Okay. Now the Logitech, now it gives me an error because I have to pass back a double. Okay, so this has to give me a double, which is a decimal number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to return something I can get from the Logitech Xbox. So I'm going to return, and then I'm going to use this object here, and I'm going to go dot, and there's a method called get raw access which I'm going to use, And they happen to know number 3, I think, is the right axis. So there. So what it's going to do is if I say double here, I have to return something. These two have to work together. This will get me the value of the raw axis number 3 on the Logitech joystick, and it'll pass it back. Okay, and I'm going to copy this and paste it in here. I'm going to make a get left stick one, and that happens to be axis 1. Let me show you really quickly what I'm talking about these axes for a second. Okay, this is a quick thing. Some of this isn't really correct, but I found it on the internet. Basically, the one axis, like see how 1 is y-axis here? Actually, this would make more sense if this was 3, and this is the y-axis on this controller too. So this is like the right side. That's why we got 3. I think this is wrong. And this is the right side here. Okay, this seems to work on our computers, maybe with their setup. They're using this thing called WinRiver. But all the buttons and things like this on a game controller have these sort of numbers that you can look up and find and use and stuff like that. So it comes from this. Okay, so back to our code. So what I did was I made a third little code change up in OI. Now I'm going to go back into, I can use this now, this get right stick value, get left stick value. I'm going to copy it over back in Drive with Joysticks to kind of solve the problem I have here. Right now I need to get a hold of the left stick. Okay, left stick value I can get from OI if I can call that get right stick value, the thing I just programmed. And I can get that from robot. So I go robot dot OI this time dot get left stick value. Okay, and then I'm going to go robot dot OI, and I can actually put this down here, like Java lets you sort of do that. OI dot get right stick value, and boom, there you go. So that would actually be enough to code the robot and get it running. Okay, so it has one command, it doesn't do anything autonomously, but what it does is it'll drive the robot, okay, using this through this command, which executes like all the time, as long as I put this in here, because it's called the default command for this, because we set this up, is drive with joysticks. So this is going to execute constantly until something else happens. And you get the two values from OI, which lives up here. So what's going on is that there's like a ton of code in here. Like, look at this, you know? There's more code over here in robot. Robot creates a drivetrain, it creates OI. It initializes them. See, this sets them up. It does a lot of work for us. Look at all this stuff here. And robot map is somewhere that you can help to get a hold of your talons, and you can set ports for them and things like this. So there's a lot of previously supplied stuff with us that comes with this WPI Live thing, but it's pretty good. So if you save it and then you try to run it, what we're going to want to do is we're going to run it as a deploy. I don't have my robot hooked up, but this would work. And all you do is you deploy it, it'll send a copy of it down to the Robo Rio, and then we are ready to go. And that's how you program this.